in the fam. All in the fam. Come on. It's all in the fam. All in the fam. Come on. Now get your hands up. 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 It's all in the fam.
Hey everyone, episode 10 of Fam Friday starts right now. I am your host, Brianna Cherie. I am the host of All in the Fam, the certified fresh, all-inclusive podcast. Now, look, the world is just turned upside down right now because of this pandemic, this virus that seems like there's just no end in sight. Well, I mean, at least it seems like there's no end in sight in America. I know other countries have been on lockdown and got it under control. But this virus literally turned everybody upside down because people have died. Let's acknowledge that. People have died, and we need to respect that this virus is serious. I hate that it has become political. It should never have become political, especially in this country, but it has. But we need to honor the lives that were lost from this virus, and we need to honor the healthcare workers doing their part to beat this thing. And to say it lightheartedly, this pandemic has brought out new experiences, but it has also brought out a lot of stress, anxiety, depression. People have lost their jobs. People have lost their loved ones. People's plans got deferred. Weddings, graduations, you name it. You know, it's a tough time. And on this episode, we want to talk about, make light of the situation, but also be aware that checking your mental health during this pandemic is very important. But also, if you are blessed enough to have a roof over your head, still have a job, can still see the light during this pandemic, we want to keep it light and discuss what has this pandemic brought good out of. So today's guest is a good friend from way back to middle school, my friend Alija. So we're going to be talking about how we put our mental health in check before, during, and currently with this pandemic, and what experience has brought this pandemic out. You know, have we had any new hobbies, new business endeavors? We're going to kind of unpack that. So without further ado, I'm going to enter Alija to the live. What's up?
Hi!
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Okay, first of all, tell a story of how we became friends.
Okay, so we went to the same middle school. It was Jefferson?
Franklin, boy.
Franklin. My first one in Chicago.
Both white and old and dead. Same difference.
Okay, so we met middle school, kind of knew each other, had same classes, just never really talked. High school came about, kind of had your clique with Emily and Paige.
Yep.
And I kind of squiggled my way in. And I think it was, what did you played basketball, right?
Basketball.
So we went to one of your games, and I think it was like homecoming week.
Yeah.
And no one was like cheering for you guys. And I was like, else I remember.
Well, because it was a freshman game. Nobody watches a freshman girls team play. Like what?
I was like, this is so embarrassing. So I remember I said, I was like, go Bree!
Yes. You were literally my biggest fan of freshman year because literally in the halls, after class, between classes, anytime I saw you in the hallway, you were like, go Bree! Like, boy, I don't even have a basketball in my hand, but I just love the positivity. I loved it. I missed it, honestly.
I know, it's so crazy.
So, you got any fun facts?
I
start it out.
A bachelor's in biochemistry, and I am working on my master's for nurse anesthetist.
Okay, smarty pants.
Yeah.
Smarty pants.
That kind of stay in the medical field. It's family thing. So yeah.
Got you.
Okay. Oh, and I'm a refugee. There you go.
Hey.
There you go.
Look at that. And look at you being all successful and shit. I'm proud of you.
Always. And sorry, I'm literally in my bedroom. I'm in the process of moving, so lighting kind of sucks, but
okay. It's okay. It's all good. This is a casual conversation. It is what it is. It is what it is. So you want to tell everybody where are you a refugee from? What country?
So I come from a small Eastern European country in Bosnia. Um, and we came here after the civil war there kind of ended. My family was like, let's go somewhere where there's a little more stability and we're
Mm-hmm.
trying to make something of ourselves. So we went to Seattle, Washington. And
Oh,
that's where we kind of started our American dream.
nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's gonna have to be a whole nother episode because I have like so many questions. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
okay, so let's get into it. So first of all, how are you right now with everything going on?
It's
I know
crazy.
it's a loaded question. You don't have to give us all the
Yeah.
specifics, but you know.
It's crazy. I mean, I was in Europe when the first travel ban, when President Trump did the travel ban, and like it was a Wednesday night and I was scheduled to fly out Friday, like when COVID first kind of happened, or I was scheduled to fly out Saturday. So I remember that Wednesday night, it was Wednesday night for you guys, but Thursday morning for us. It was like 3 in the morning. And uh, Josh calls me and he's like, there's like a travel ban, like not come home. And I'm like, what the heck? So I was trying to figure out what's happening with how am I going to get home? What is going on? Because no one knew what COVID was at that time. So I was able to come back, and then Florida went into an immediate lockdown. Well, that's a lie. Not immediate. They
Yeah.
took their time. They're still taking their time, but we went session, our little lockdown.
Yeah.
We're home. I mean, Josh and I were stuck. So I couldn't go back to work because I was in Europe. I was there for a month, so they wouldn't let me go back. So I got laid off. Josh gets furloughed, so we were kind of stuck at home, literally not go. Like we went nowhere. I'm like, no one. The medical in me is like, no one knows what's going on.
Right.
Knows, so we're not. So I started watching my friend Sammy on Instagram talking, or on Facebook Live talking about her essential oils.
Mm-hmm.
So she kind of was like, oh, I'm like doing essential oils. I'm getting into it. I'm doing this with it. I'm learning this with it. It's helping me with this and that. And I'm like, girl, you've piqued my interest. I'm so curious now. What is this? So I like messaged her. I'm like, hey, tell me about these essential oils. So she gets me like, then I start watching like YouTube videos. My Pinterest board becomes what diffuser blends I can use to like Bath and Body Works candles.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Sammy, get me involved in this. I want this. How do I become a part of it? So I bought my first starter kit, and just kind of rolled into essential oils and using them for their benefit. And I haven't, it's been now, so that was 3 months ago. It's been about, 90 days. And I love them.
Yeah.
They are my favorite. They are my favorite.
What a perfect time to get something literally in the name, something so essential with all this stress
Yeah.
and this anxiety going on and
Yeah.
uncertainty. So to have like to pick up that, I feel like is really beneficial. And one, health wise, I
Yeah.
hear a lot of good things about essential oils. My friend, the content creator of this podcast, she was telling me all the benefits of essential oils. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. But it's interesting because if this pandemic wouldn't happen, I feel like many of us wouldn't have all these sparked interests and time to just relax, sit down, and like figure out what can I
I,
spark my interest with.
I agree. It was definitely I look at it as a blessing in disguise. I mean, I got to really, I mean, the entire world finally took a minute
Mm-hmm.
to be with their families or just be in the present and in the moment of things that we take for granted all the time. I mean, I definitely took for granted moving. I mean, I moved away last year from my mom, so I took for granted all the times that I would have been able to just go drive 2 hours and visit her.
Yeah.
So, and discovering all these new things. I mean, I don't think I've ever I had no clue what essential oils were
Mm-hmm.
until pandemic happened and I had Sammy was just popping up on Instagram and Facebook.
What other, I mean, I agree because during the pandemic, I was so bored. I re-picked up graphic design. So that was like my little outlet to kind of relax. Um, I did graphic design in high school, but life happened and sports and degrees and jobs. So I just didn't have the time to do graphic design. And I've been doing graphic design during quarantine. My cousin actually pushed me to go back into it because he's also a graphic designer. And I've just been, doing mini projects here and there and stuff. So it's just, if this pandemic didn't happen again, I probably wouldn't realize that, oh man, I actually am not too bad at this. I'm no artist, but at least I have, a hobby that I have interest in that I could probably, make money off of one day.
Yeah.
So it's just so interesting that even though during this time so much shit has come out of it, people like us who, we've gone through some shit with this pandemic, but there has been, positive upsides.
Yeah, it's definitely, I
mhm.
mean, oils, like some of my favorite oils, like is one of them is peace and calming. So when I would go out and see these people like masks are useless, or I'm like, homeboy, like there was this one time I went to, I forgot what store it was, and this guy had his gloves on, had his mask on, great, was on his phone. And I'm like, what's the point of the gloves? So my peace and calming oil, literally, I'm like, what's the point of your gloves? Like, what are you doing? So I came home and in my diffuser, I did my peace and calming. Literally, I have every room. Josh gets home from work. He's like, why does it smell like I feel like I'm on a eucalyptus farm. And I'm like, it's the oils. It was a stressful day. Enjoy the peace and calming. And it was like, I've learned anything there's an oil for. So creative design, there's an oil for that. There's the oil. It opens you up. It grounds you.
Okay.
It is the best. It is the best.
Do they have an oil for Karens? Because there's just too many out there. I need to come home, just cleanse myself of the Karenness in this world.
That peace and calming. Put it in a little, or you just walk around all day and you're like, peace and calming.
Okay, in contact, essential oils, nothing else, because that don't look right.
Put it in your mask. Put a little drop in your mask and just walk around and just remind yourself.
That's funny. That's funny. Any other practices that helped you take care of your mental health during this pandemic? I know for me, I had to start doing yoga and meditating. So that helps me a lot.
I did the same thing. I reminded myself that I humbled myself a lot is the first thing. So definitely the meditating, yoga, just trying to relax and kind of remind myself that we're in a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We're certain times, we don't know what's going on. Why risk anything? Why play chances? So took my time really just kind of figuring things, like following the rules and going with the flow and not panicking, and really using the time of being at home and isolation to remind myself for everything that we're thankful for.
Right.
Everything that we have that we take for granted throughout every day.
That's very true. That's very true. Were there times that you were just beat, just either mentally beat or just bored? You thought like we would never leave our houses. How did you?
Yeah,
you snap out of that mindset?
I mean, we all hit that cabin fever, I think, at one point when we did not know what was going to happen. So yeah, there was times where, especially me knowing that I'm in the medical field and I want to go help and I can't.
Right.
So I'm like, you think, what are we going, like, is this going to end? What's going to happen? And it really was just meditating and the oils, using my oils, grounding myself, and just making it do with what we have at home. So
I got you.
we eased up a little bit on Florida. I mean, everywhere we go, we wear our masks and stuff like that. So that's been a nice little, at least I have my mask, I have my protection, and go from there. Social distancing.
Which is funny because a lot of people are going down to Florida to vacation during this time still. Like, I feel like you guys have a lot of
There are.
snow bunnies.
So there
Like,
are. There's definitely like people are coming down on vacation. And honestly, I don't know. I'm like, to each their own. If you follow social distancing and you wear the masks and you kind of stay with your own little clique, then
mhm,
it should be okay. But it's when it starts to going to bars,
yeah.
going to and no going to parties where there's no social distancing and
Mhm.
mixing, that's where the lines get blurred. And
Yeah.
I'm like, there's a time and place for it. Use common sense.
Right. And like not even like parties of like 10 people. Like there's people like
Yeah,
partying. My
yeah.
friends down in Florida, they call them snow bunnies. So like people from the north who normally come to Florida during the winter, who couldn't during March and February, that are all now down there right now. And it's like,
I
damn, y'all.
I stay away. I'm like, there's more than four. Oh, I'll pass.
Yeah, I mean, like I go outside, I see friends, I see family. If I'm in public, I got my mask on. If I have people over, I'd be like, look, where you been? Have you been
Yeah.
tested? You know, any symptoms? So I'm definitely taking the precautions. But in terms of staying in my house, look, I got back to work. Life is not normal, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm
I'd
moving.
rather be at where we're at right now than locked up in my house because
Exactly.
as much as I loved it for the middle part of it,
Yeah,
I'm too social. I'm too social. I'm an
I know.
extrovert.
And look, I'm moving,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's a new normal is what we're getting back to, and I think it's everything takes time and just kind of getting used to the new norm, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, the normal is what got us here anyway.
Yeah.
Being all close together and
Yep.
stuff. And
Yep. 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 So
any advice to somebody who may not see the light in the tunnel during this time? Any positive feedback, quotes, any essential oils that they need to get into?
definitely the essential oils. Believe is one that I use a lot, and it's one of my favorite. And it's a grounding one, so it really brings you, it humbles you and it brings you back down, and it really does uplift you to see that there is that end. I mean, everything takes time,
Yeah.
so time heals all, and just kind of humble yourself, bring us back down, even though now we can go out, but we still have to remind ourselves what it was when we couldn't go back out.
Right.
So,
Cool, cool, cool.
so yeah.
I'm reading the comment.
I
For
know.
2 more years.
So where
Honestly, I'm used to the masks. They
I
they're starting to look stylish now. So
they
I'm
have
like, okay.
they have cute one girls at Etsy. There's what you can get your Gucci on Etsy.
I ain't that bougie. I'm too much of a tomboy. I'll get a Nike one at that point. Like
Yeah,
I don't need no
yeah.
Gucci.
I have a Disney one. I have two. I have a Pooh Bear one, and then I have a Mickey Mouse one, and they're so cute, and I love them. I went to Home Depot the other day, and they're like, "Oh my God, I love your mask," and I'm like, "Hey,
That's so Florida of you.
I
Have
love
a
it.
Disney
Listen, Disney baby, I fell for it. I have the annual pass.
mask.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care."
Hey, Disney Plus gave me life during the pandemic. So
Hamilton girl, Hamilton.
oh, I watched Hamilton for the first time. On point. On
Yeah,
point. On
yes.
point. So you got a little special deal going
So yeah,
on for the viewers?
there is, for whoever watched and actually stayed through the entire thing, the question or the key question is, what did I yell in the hallways to support Bree? And if you answer that right, you will actually get a free diffuser if you purchase a premium starter kit. So you're going to get those 12 oils. You'll get 2 free diffusers because Young Living gives you one as well. So I'll send you one as a gift for watching and subscribe and everything else. So DM those answers, what they are, and we'll go from there.
Yes, DM all in the fam the answers, and then we'll do a little raffle, and then I'll give you the name. How about that?
Perfect.
Cool, cool, cool. And no, Kamara, you cannot enter the raffle because you are part of the podcast.
No,
I told her before the
have
podcast
her
about
DM me her address. I will send a user.
She was like, I want to enter. I'm like, girl, this is for the viewers, not us.
Send her a diffuser. She can have one.
Awesome. Other than that, I love the emojis that she put in. The shade. All right, Alia, it was so good talking to you.
I know. It was so nice to talk to you again.
Yeah, so now I gotta say, go Alia once you get your master's degree. So
yeah, but go Bree. Say hi to Emily and Paige for me, and I wish you guys safeness and an amazing rest of 2020, and hopefully a better 2021.
Hopefully. Oh my God.
Because we're almost done. We're done with August almost. How crazy is that?
I know. I don't even want to think about it. Oh my gosh. All right.
Text me. I gotta go.
All right. I'll see you, friend. Have a good move and stay safe.
Thank you. You too. Bye, Bree.
Bye. All right. So that wraps up episode 10 of All in the Fam. That was a good friend, Alia. We talked about, what did we do to cope with our mental health during the pandemic? I talked about how I use yoga and meditation, and I got back into my interest of graphic design just as an outlet, a creative outlet to de-stress. And, Alia talked about that he was very into essential oils and all the different oils, how they helped him cope with his mental health and bring him at peace, and things like that. Again, to reiterate from the beginning of this episode, look, this pandemic is real. It's sad. We shouldn't take it for granted. People have been killed. People have lost loved ones. So many people are unemployed, out of work, out of school, plans deferred. So we should show some empathy to people out there going through this. If you're blessed with a roof over your head, food on the table, can still pay your bills, still have your job, count your blessings. Though this is hard for everyone in their own way, still check your mental health. If you're going through it really hard or you're not going through it so hard, still check your mental health and be there for people. Check in on people. Now is the perfect time to check in on people. So with that being said, make sure you follow All in the Fam on Instagram. So after this live is over, make sure you follow those who are new to the live watching right now. We do post these up to YouTube. So there is a link in the bio in our Instagram page to our YouTube page. All the episodes and podcast episodes are up on that page too. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So make sure you subscribe and also comment. What do you think about this video? What are some things that you're going through right now to help you deal with your mental health during this time, during this pandemic? Follow us on Spotify, Apple iTunes. Those links are also in the bio as well. Other than that, that's all I got for you. The next episode will be, I want to say 2 weeks from now on Wednesday. And the next Wednesday, I'll be posting a short video segment about transitional periods. So the season is all about adulthood. I'm giving some tips and tricks and advice for us to grow together as we go through this journey as young adults. And I'll be giving some tips for high schoolers who are entering high school, or late high schoolers who are entering college, and college students who are entering, the job market right now. So I'll be talking about those points in the next video segment next Wednesday. I am Brianna Cherie, host of All in the Fam. I am wrapping out. See y'all.